Hello and welcome to the official EstablishTheRun.com podcast. My name is Adam Levitan. I am one of the co-founders here at ETR, and we are coming off of an off-season to remember. Yes, that's right. Hopefully you all got in some full-blown hashtag team smell the roses time over the last several months because training camp starts in roughly 1 week, which means, once again, it is time for war. Before that, though, I really just wanted to pop on here and get a few things off my chest in this solo pod format. A lot of people have been asking for it. I appreciate all of you. After I get some things off my chest, I will stick around and answer your sick and perverted listener questions. Never fear. First thing I want to talk about was this water fast that I did back in April. I mentioned it on Twitter. I think I tweeted something like 48 hours into my first career 72-hour water fast. Update, I'm fucking hungry. And honestly, that was it. Yes, I had no food and no drink other than water for a full 72 hours. And I really did mostly feel fine. It was not that hard. I even played a little tennis the first day, which I certainly should not have done, but I'm addicted to the game. But I never really felt weak or sick or anything. I was really just hungry. And even that dissipated a bit as the time went on. I thought it was a good chance to work on mental strength, not let that hungry feeling bother you and affect your life. I probably could have gone longer. I might try to do 96 hours next time. But regardless, I don't really think all that stuff is that interesting. I think people are more confused as to why I wanted to do it. Why put yourself through that, no eating for 72 hours? Truth is that I've probably been influenced. I mean, I saw some people talking about it online. I know some people such as Wiggins who have done it. I decided to read about it on my own and then just decided it was a good idea and do it because the whole concept just makes sense to me. Our bodies are so incredible, can do so many amazing things, adapt to so many different factors. But if our body is just constantly digesting food as I stuff my fat face all day, well, my body has to focus on that. And so there's some research, I emphasize some, that shows if our body isn't digesting food well, it can do insane things like kill cancer cells, decrease inflammation, improve baseline blood sugar. Now, do I believe all this blindly? No, of course not. But I don't really see the downside. I don't really see the harm. I see it as a free roll. If there's even a 1% chance or a 3% chance that doing a 72-hour fast can actually kill some horrible cell in my body, well, it's for sure worth it, right? And the other part of it is, I was just wanting to reset on my digestive system. I was eating horribly. I just wanted to clear it out, give my digestive system a break, start somewhat fresh. The bottom line is that I just hate how our medical industry is reactive, not proactive. Wait for something to go wrong for you, wait for something to go wrong to you, and then try to treat it. Okay, but what if it's too late? I can't fathom anything worse than waking up and finding out I have stage 4 cancer when if I had been screened for it, it could have been caught in stage 1. And so doing the fast, I think, is just an extension of that. Hey, it's doubtful that it actually helps, but in the small chance it actually helps prevent some horrible disease, I want to try it. All right, moving on here. Had a lot of questions from people about my latest trip to Las Vegas. First, I'd like to say that I just love being in Vegas. It's 110 and sunny. It feels so amazing. I actually really like the heat like that. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. The food, in my opinion, in Vegas is probably some of the best in the country for higher end restaurants. Like I think hole in the wall type stuff is better in New York and Philly. And I do love that East Coast food, but I had some truly awesome meals in Vegas. And lastly, I just love being around fellow grinders. Like, obviously, I hate these fucking dolts on the strip, people hammered and acting like idiots. But Vegas has so many sharp gamblers in poker and in sports. Like, I can feel being around that, and I actually do enjoy it. It is funny, though, when you're in Vegas. I mean, everyone else in Vegas is just trying to get fucked up and party and have the sex and get all dressed up. And I'm there. I'm trying to avoid that at all costs, right? So it is a bit weird being there. What's weird, though, I mean, I saw a lot of people on this last trip, more than usual, just walking around the strip with their kids. I mean, I would bring my kids to Vegas for sure, but I would not let them go anywhere near the strip. You know, I mean, I had two different guys in suits, full blown suits, 110 degrees, come up to me and say, hey man, sluts on your nuts, strip club, sluts on your nuts. Now, obviously, you got the guys handing out, the hooker cards. I saw a girl walking around Paris Hotel screaming into her phone. She was like, don't give me that bullshit. When I came in the room, you were in her ass. I mean, it's a wild scene. You can't bring kids out there. Oh, speaking of wild scene, I had this awesome dinner at this place called Super Frico in the Cosmo. I mean, it was a wild scene, like dudes dancing with their shirts off, people playing drums. I really can't even explain it. But anyway, yeah, I was there to eat well, to play some high stakes tennis bets, to have some fun playing the World Series of Poker main event. And yeah, I'll start there. I had a bunch of questions about the World Series main. I think there's two ways to think about that event and the strategy for it, especially early on. The first way to think about it is, hey, there's a ton of terrible players in this field, given that it's a 10K buy-in. Let's just let them punt. Let's just let them go full-blown Reggie Roby, punt it off like Jeff Fiegels, and we'll just field the punt by playing a bit passive and solid and run up a big stack like that. That's one approach. The second approach to me is, hey, listen, there's a lot of people that are just happy to be there. A lot of them are playing a very, very weak, tight style. They're just naturally a bit overwhelmed. They're just hoping to fold to the money. And I think the best strategy against those kind of people is to play a real loose, aggressive style, really try to put people to the test. So for the most part, I tried to play that second strategy I just described. The problem was twofold. I mean, first, I'm just not good enough to really execute that style. Like, I've barely played poker in the last 5+ years. I'm just a mess. And second, the average player in the World Series of Poker main now is so much better than they used to be. I mean, massively better. It's so noticeable. So me trying to play this really laggy style against tables full of people that are pretty competent, it just wasn't going to work. I busted on day 2. I never really got much going. I'm just not good enough anymore, Like, I'm the recreational whale now who comes to the poker table just to have fun and try to get lucky. And I got to be honest, I know some people like that, like, just doesn't feel great. What also didn't feel great was just being dick to dick with incels everywhere you walk in Paris and the Horseshoe where the World Series was. I mean, my God, when I hear some virgin talking about his shoving range versus middle position opens in the bathroom, like, I literally just want to put a pen through my ears. It's so brutal. The good news, though, for poker and anyone who likes poker, anyone who's in the poker business, I mean, live poker is back. It's crazy how popular live poker is right now. I'll get into that a little bit more later, but yeah, I'll get into that more later. The real reason, though, I wanted to go to Vegas was not for poker. It was for tennis. Had the biggest tennis bet of my life booked against Brandon Adams out there. Trained pretty hard for the past few months to get ready. I was playing 3 to 4 times a week. Shout out to Coach Greg. Shout out to Katie, who stretches me. Shout out to the world's greatest trainer, Gator, who got my shoulder squared away after I had a bit of a rotator cuff issue. I know I've said this before, but training for and playing these tennis bets is probably my favorite thing to do in life. Like, I've realized about myself, I just want to compete. Like, I don't care about the money or fame or anything like that. I literally just want to compete. And to me, tennis is the best arena to do that. It's one-on-one. It's such a physical and mental battle. I'll be 41 in September. I can still play. And I just love everything that goes into training for a bet. The training, mental strategy, physical strategy, trying to get better. But really just want to compete. So get out for the match, playing indoor hard court, dropped the first set, 6-2 to BA. BA played out of his mind, just crushing clean winners from the forehand. I had never seen him play that well. Felt like I just had to kind of wait it out, let his level drop some, stay strong mentally. Ended up winning the second set 6-3, and he eked out this final set 6-4. So I was happy about that. Thought that would be it. I could sail off into the sunset with the win. But no one loves it more than BA, man. I mean, I thought I loved it. This fucking guy loves it more than anyone I've ever met. He texts me the next day, says he wants to play again, this time on the roof at the Cosmo. There's 2 courts on the roof of the Cosmo. 110-degree weather, no shade on the court. I felt like I wanted to play again, but I felt like I had to play again, give him action again. So we played again. I lost the first set. won the second set, just broke down in every way in the final set, got trounced in that last set, 6-1 up there on the Cosmo. But it was a war. It was so much fun. Also got to play Tony Dunst out there. You guys might know him from WPT, which was cool. Squeezed out a tight tiebreak win over him. But yeah, like I said, I just feel fortunate that at my age, I'm still able to physically really compete. And yeah, I'll be really sad when I can't anymore. Third thing I want to talk about is this Twitter stuff. I don't want to go too deep into it on the Twitter stuff. I just got to get a couple of things off my chest. And yes, I understand that I am biased in favor of Twitter. Twitter completely changed my life. Period. Full stop. I am forever indebted to Twitter. If not for Twitter, I'd probably be humping some miserable stock gambling job. Sorry, I mean, quote unquote trading, instead of playing DFS and telling sex jokes on the internet. So obviously, I was incredibly tilted when Facebook or Instagram or Meta or whatever it's called. I hate all that shit. I never go on it. But I was massively tilted when they came out with a clone of Twitter called Threads. Honestly, I don't know what will happen with Twitter or Threads or anything else. But I'm really mostly just incredibly tired of people bitching about Twitter. Like, take some ownership over your own life experiences. Instead of whining about the For You tab or whatever else, take 5 minutes, create a list of the people you actually want to see tweets from. And when you log on to Twitter, go to that list. It's not that hard, you know? And like people bitching about the replies, never use the reply button. This is not that hard. Twitter is an impossibly difficult, ridiculous place to try to have an actual debate or intelligent discussion. It's not the place for that. It remains the best place in the world to get the information fastest, the best information fastest, period. And that's all I get out of Twitter as a reader. That's all I want. And that's why Twitter is so great, and I hope it sustains. You know, if you are proactive in your use of it, it remains the best place to get the information that I need. So yeah, I'm worried about Twitter. I really hope it doesn't fragment off into a million pieces. Reminds me of poker when it started to fragment. You know, like the best was when everyone and anyone was at Borgata. It was the only place to play for really anyone on the East Coast, Midwest, not even Midwest, you know, like Western PA, wherever. Everyone was in Borgata. You know, Fish, really good players, everything in between. From 2004 to 2010, everyone was at Borgata. It was unreal. Then casinos sprout up in Pennsylvania and Massachusetts and other places in New Jersey and Maryland and Virginia and West Virginia. And it was just flat out worse, you know. Speaking of flat out worse, I am on Threads now as Adam Levitan 04. If anyone is on there, just posting the same things as I post to Twitter on there. It's really just a carbon copy. They ripped it straight off. But if you're on Threads, Adam Levitan 04. Okay, last thing I wanted to talk about before I get to listener questions is just cleaning up a bunch of logistical and organizational questions on Establish the Run. I know things can be a bit complicated this time of year, so I want to be very clear. Right now, we have Draft Kit and Draft Kit Pro on sale. Draft Kit is just for redraft leagues. Draft Kit Pro covers redraft, best ball, and dynasty. Also, Draft Kit Pro subscribers get access to Thorman's rankings in season, rest of season top 150, which comes out each week, and the weekly waiver wire article. Right now, also, we have an early bird special going for our bundle. That combines Draft Kit Pro with our in-season package for the lowest price it will be all season. In-season includes Silva's matchups, all our projections, all our DFS content and shows, basically everything we do through the Super Bowl. Now, I do want to be clear that we have two products which will be total one-offs. They're not being sold yet. They're not part of any bundle. The first is preseason DFS. We, of course, are covering God's game. That is a separate subscription. The other one-off is weekly player props during the season. That's a whole other story, which we'll talk about when we get much closer, but that also is not part of the in-season package. Now that that's out of the way, I just want to spend a minute talking about our business philosophy here at ETR. Simply put, our goal is not to go sell you as many things as we possibly can. We firmly do not think more is better. In fact, we actually think the opposite. Our job is to literally spend our entire life and day looking at everything and distilling that down to what you actually need to win and convey it in a digestible manner. And so I'm sure all of you have seen some of the free content out there, rankings, articles, newsletters, whatever. the goal of a lot of these offerings is to get a big audience that you can get advertising and affiliate money. Free simply doesn't work often unless you get a very big audience. And that's totally cool. Totally cool. I totally get that approach. I've been part of that approach before. That's just not what we're doing here at ETR. You guys, people, pay us to be honest and to be right more often than not. We aren't blasting articles and emails out all day just to get clicks for the sake of clicks. We just want to help serious players, people who will pay for quality, and help those people win. Behind the scenes, like, we only try to stay stuff or do content when we think it's something that actually helps you win, that actually you need to know. So behind the scenes, we've made incredibly massive investments into data science and analytics because we know we need to stay ahead of the curve in actually winning as markets evolve. That's really all we care about. And I'm excited to see how these investments that we've made play out, because I really do think that our ability to actually predict what will happen on the field will be better than ever. And everything else is just noise. So hopefully that all makes sense. Didn't want to ramble too much there. Hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, as always, do not hesitate. All right. Enough is enough. Let's get to everyone's favorite portion of the program, the listener questions. Bruce or Luke, hit the theme music. All right. Appreciate all the questions from everyone. Going to do 7 today. Question 1 comes from DB. He says, what do you think of this trend where quote unquote sharps post their best ball drafts when they get the QB for their stack sniped and complain the other drafter is a fish and ruin both teams? Yeah, I've seen a lot of people doing this. Like, even people I really like and respect and I think are sharp are complaining about this. I just don't get it. Like, only a true dolt would complain about what someone else does at the blackjack table. Only a total mouth-breathing moron would complain about what someone else did in a poker hand. So I'm stunned to see sharp people complaining about getting quote-unquote sniped on best ball stacks. Like, if we think someone is playing bad, we want them to continue to play poorly. If you got your primary stack sniped, well, maybe that would make you be more unique with your backdoor stacks. People playing poorly is going to help your advance rate. So I don't know. One thing I know for sure is that whining about it won't do anything. Like, what we definitely don't want is people just using optimal strategy in best ball and ETR ranks, and then the edge would really dissipate. Like, the whole reason poker can be played for a living is because of people doing stupid stuff. Why would we get angry when we do that said stupid stuff? It just blows my mind. So yeah, I would not be tapping the tank. I think it's crazy to bitch about getting your stack sniped. Question 2 from Matt Sweetheart. He says, over the years, how has ETR evolved in ways that you and Evan Silva planned for and in ways you never imagined? Man, I mean, never could have imagined the way ETR has evolved. Our first idea back in early 2019 was literally one podcast a week. That's it. Friday night, Evan and I go game by game and talk about the best, worst plays on a show on Friday night, charge like $100 for the whole season. And I honestly thought that was a great idea. But yeah, thankfully we had Taylor KB as one of the co-founders, and he just pushed us to think bigger, to think about multiple sports. We now have NBA and PGA in addition to NFL, and actually one more sport coming soon. Can't reveal it yet, but one more sport coming very soon. He pushed us to really, really invest big time in data and data science and projections and marrying more of that with the soft skill stuff. So yeah, now to have a full team of full-time people working with us and a bunch of really sharp part-time people as well, it's just really wild. Never could have imagined. Question 3 from Philly Special. He says, will you ever move back to Philly? I try to say never in life, but this is one I'm pretty confident in. Not anything against Philly really, but I think 2 big reasons why I never move back. The first one is I want to have experiences everywhere on this planet. Like, I definitely regret spending 17 years in Philadelphia. It's just too much for one place, for me at least, not for everyone, but too much in one place for me. There's just so many different cultures, different kinds of people, different atmospheres, different food, different activities out there all over our country. Ideally, I'd like to experience it all. So I think when our younger son goes to college, like, I just have too much guilt to move while they're young and they have friends and stuff. But when our younger son goes to college, have a plan, hopefully, to live 1 to 2 years in a place and then keep it moving, 1 to 2 years in Miami, 1 to 2 years in the Vegas burbs, 1 to 2 years in Alaska, 1 to 2 years in Hawaii, 1 to 2 years in Montana. I mean, who knows? And that just strikes me as something that would make me happy and feel fulfilled. Second, on Philly specifically, I think something uniquely awesome about the Denver area is everyone is from somewhere else. Like everyone that we've met here did what we did. They picked up their life and they moved out here for some reason. And so it kind of replicates or influences being around the kind of people that I like to be around, active, willing to do shit, not scared of change. In Philly, meanwhile, everyone knows each other for 50, 100 years. Everyone is from Philly. Everyone's cousins are related. Everyone went to high school together. Everyone went to camp together. And so me being from Virginia, I don't know, Philly just never felt like home. So I don't know. No one cares, but just a long way of saying that I can't see any scenario where I'd really move back. Questions 4 and 5 I'm going to do together. Question 4 from Jake. He says, what's your favorite room to play cash in Vegas? And why is it Aria Poker? Question 5 is from Large Cat. He says, how did you get linked up with Will Jaffe, Dankness, to do the World Series of Poker stream, and how was it? Yeah, so Jake, who asked question number 4, Jake is a listener of the show and a props grinder. He's also part of the management team at the Aria Poker Room in Vegas. He's legit not paying me to say this, but I pretty much only play cash at Aria when I'm out there now. The games, I think, there are at least better than the ones at Bellagio. A lot of the high-stakes stuff at Bellagio, I think, has been taken over by really good European players. Aria also plays 8-handed at 10-20 no limit and up, which I really like. And maybe in other games too, I'm not sure. Food is really good at the table. Free Fiji waters, which I love. You can stockpile those free Fijis instead of the $50 ones from the mini bar in the room. But generally, and speaking to Large Cat's question, I'm just like in shock and in awe of how wildly popular poker and live poker is again. It's absolutely insane. Like, these card rooms are almost as crowded as they were during the moneymaker boom. Every tournament all over the country seems to be smashing records. It's just wild. And I really don't know why. I mean, Large Cat mentioned that little stream that I did with Dankness, Will Jaffe. I know him from playing mid-stakes at Borgata and Parks, 15 plus years ago. He's a really funny guy. He's trying to bring back like more of the comedy and fun to poker rather than a lot of the straight strategy and solver talk we've seen lately. But yeah, I don't know. My best guess for why live poker is booming again is YouTube. Sounds crazy, but like this little show that Will and I did before day 2A of the main event got 24,000 views. Just me and him, no plan, just bullshitting about poker and tennis. I mean, 24,000 views is a lot more than a lot of our fantasy football videos get. But that's nothing, right? Like these vlogs, I mean, I can't watch them, these vlogs, they seem like nice guys. I don't want to say anything bad, but I'm just so incredibly bored. And I know that I'm obviously in the minority because like Andrew Nemi and Brad Owen vlogs of these guys playing poker get millions of views. Millions. It's insane. Doug Polk's channel is massive. These streams of people playing live cash, like Hustler Casino Live at the Bike, whatever, they get hundreds of thousands of viewers and like 50,000 concurrents. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So it's wild, man. For whatever reason, live poker is just smashing right now in terms of interest. Question 6 from Nathan. He says, I live where the sports betting market is controlled by the state lottery. You are only allowed to bet from within a casino on their app. This means you can't line shop and lines are noticeably bad. Would you still bet with the odds stacked against you or stop betting altogether? Yeah, Nathan, I've seen stuff like this, state-controlled lottery making both sides of the game minus 130. I want to be very clear. Almost no one is winning at sports betting when the prices are fair, minus 110 on both sides, yes, no's, and all the markets, etc. Like almost no one is winning at that anyways. Stuff like what Nathan is describing is literally impossible to beat in the long run. But what I found is that with sports betting, like so many people don't even care that they're losing. They know they're losing. It's just easy, they want to have fun. And that's totally cool. I just think people should go into it with their eyes open if that's what you're doing. If you're in one of these places where it's minus 130, minus 120 on both sides of the game, just know that you're not going to win. Question 7, and the last question we're going to do today from Dr. Benjamin. He says, how can I convince my girlfriend to partake in taint play? I'm a big fan, but have no idea how to bring it up without her thinking I'm a monster. Thanks in advance. Taint play, yeah. I think we need to zoom out here. Are we 100% sure that women aren't sick fucks just like us when it comes to sex stuff? Like when I was younger, I thought I was 100% sure that women weren't sick fucks. But I don't know, man. Like I just read a stat the other day that 35% of people who visit YouPorn, the website, are female. And I bet it'd be higher if there wasn't such a stigma attached to women and sex. You know, I think Lil Dicky, one of the great artists of our generation, said it well in the classic ballad, White Dude. He said, and when I'm freaking, I'm getting daps, high fives, and all that. My rep going up, and at best, ho, a slut. You know. So, Dr. Benjamin, I think what I'm trying to say is that you being into taint play, I mean, that seems pretty tame, you know? I bet your girlfriend won't even think you're a quote unquote monster. I'd probably lay like minus 120 that she's into it. So let me know if you want action. All right. That's going to do it for this off-season solo pod. Always have fun doing these. Appreciate all you guys listening solo. I'm not sure when the next one will be. Obviously, we'll be doing it every week again during the season, but we'll see if we get another off-season one in before week 1 starts. Appreciate y'all being here. For producer Luke. For the most beautiful beast in the world, Jerry. I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.